It's not even that the advice itself was bad. The advice was fine. Like it wasn't objectively incorrect information. Like if you do the things that this guy says, you'll be fine. It was lazy. It was nothing.
Welcome back, everybody, to the insurance panel. Nick Frumpkin, myself.
Howdy.
How was your week?
It was all right. Can't complain. End of the month.
Are you on
things off?
You probably are on track on your week. You're probably on track for your month.
Yes.
Therefore, on track for your year.
Yeah.
It's amazing how that all works out.
It is, kind of. Yeah,
if you have a plan. Yeah, I saw today somebody on a Facebook group. I can't remember which group because there's so many at this point. And this guy was like, hey, I screwed up. I don't have a business plan. And I'm $4,000 in the hole. Do you remember that post?
I don't think I saw that one. Oh, no. I did see that one. Yes.
Yeah.
I know the one you're talking about. Yeah.
It was a younger guy, and he was just like, I screwed up.
Needing to talk his parents into.
Yeah, he's like, I need to make sure my parents understand what I'm doing again. And
because they're trying to send him to like trade school.
For sure.
Yeah. Well, they want him to have a career that pays.
Yeah. Well, this career does pay. Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. It's the point of the show.
Right. No. People need to know this career pays. Good point.
If you're watching this, then the career pays. If you're not watching this, career is not good. But the main thing, and I was really proud of the guy because he was able to say it was his fault, nobody else's.
Yeah.
He went to trainings. He did not listen. He did not follow what he was supposed to do, and it's his fault. But the one thing he said he didn't have was a business plan to show his mom and dad. Like, here's the thing that I'm going to do to make the money. And I found out a lot of people don't even have a business plan.
Yeah.
Like if there's no set system, there's no thing for them to follow. And what we have been telling you and are going to tell you again is every IMO, pretty much every IMO, I don't think of one, doesn't have some sort of system that you need to follow. Like they have a system that you can follow and you can duplicate. If you don't, ask somebody for help with that, because like most successful agents can tell you exactly what to do. Like, order leads every week, have this many have this many phone calls, to have this many appointments, to sit down with this many people, to sit down with that many people, to close this amount of business, to turn profit, and like repeat the thing over and over and over. And it's like, that's the whole business plan. And then eventually you get into Medicare and you sell a couple Medicare policies. And over the course of
assuming that you get a health license.
Assuming you get a health license. I don't know. It's to the point now where it's almost a running joke that I can't ruin.
Yeah, that's the reason why you're not doing it.
Yeah. But the one thing that happens that I have noticed, even if they have a business plan, is people get really bad sales tips.
That's true. They listen to idiots on YouTube, which they really shouldn't be doing. Present company excluded, I guess. But like most people on YouTube are, most free advice is worth the price you pay for it.
Yeah, which is, again, hard because we're giving out free advice.
I know.
And we are the YouTube guys, and we're telling you the same thing that every other YouTube channel is going to tell you, which is our stuff's really good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But what we're going to do, and I think what we're going to do, is we're going to watch a really, really bad sales tip.
Okay.
I mean,
let's do that.
Like suggestively bad. Like Nick and I were talking about it before this. He was like, I still can't get over how bad that one was.
It's just so late. Like it's not even that the advice itself was bad. Mm-hmm. Sorry, my dogs are barking at the mailman. They're walking stereotypes of dogs. It's not even that the advice itself was bad. The advice was fine. Like it wasn't objectively incorrect information. Like if you do the things that this guy says, you'll be fine. It was lazy. It was nothing. It was not advice. It was so bad because it was It was not. It was like somebody just came up with the first, like somebody was told, hey, you got to go record a video with the 3 tips to sell more life insurance in 2021. And this guy literally came up with the first 3 things that happened to be on the top of his head. And they were the most lazy, non-existent, non-tips. And they're bad enough that he even tells you at the start that you're going to be mad at him about how bad these are.
Did he say that?
Yes. He says right before he tells you the very first one, he's like, you guys are going to be so mad at me because it's so obvious. And you know this already. And I know this already. And I know you know this already. And you're going to be so mad at me that I'm saying it, but it's still the number 1 tip.
I guess I didn't notice him saying that because I was like trying to jump. I usually know there's like a bunch of like stuff at the front, so you like gotta get through it. But I think we should watch it. So what I'm gonna do, Nick, is
call this guy out.
Yeah. Well, it's how this thing is named "How to Sell Life Insurance in 2021."
Oh.
Right.
Clickbait.
So yeah. So if you're an agent and you're like, how do I sell life insurance? And it says how to sell life insurance in 2021. It's not something you saw 5 years ago. You're like, oh, it's relevant for this year.
Yeah.
This is bad advice. Okay. So I'm going to watch like the first like 3 minutes of this. I don't know if you are too. So we'll pause the recording. We'll watch 3 minutes. We'll talk. Same thing. And then Ryan, I'm going to give you the thing and you do your thing.
What's up, guys? My name is Nick Saka, and are you in the business of selling life insurance? Are you struggling to sell life insurance? Are you tired of sucking at selling life insurance? Well, if that's you, in this video, I'm going to give you 3 tips that have made my agencies one of the top performing agencies for the last 4 years. Stay tuned. What's up, guys? So again, my name is Nick Saka, and on this channel you can expect to see all things self-development, entrepreneurship, and insurance, and a couple things about life insurance. Life insurance is both the easiest sale in the world and the hardest sale in the world. I think it's easy because everyone knows that they should probably have life insurance. Everyone knows that they're gonna die someday, and not everyone has money in the bank for their families in case they die, right? Nobody wants their family or their friends doing car washes, doing GoFundMes when they die, right? So it's easy in that respect that everyone knows they should and should probably have life insurance. But it's a hard sell because nobody wants to talk about it, right? There's this joke that it's like you want people to walk away from you or you want people to leave you alone at a party, just start talking about life insurance. Just tell them you sell life insurance and they'll walk away from you, right? So it's hard because no one wants to talk about it, but it's up to us to actually have these hard conversations and to present it in a way that makes people actually want to have life insurance. Life insurance is the best product that I sell. We sell auto insurance, home insurance, motorcycle renters, all these other insurances that most of those ones are required by the law, whereas life insurance is not required by the law. Although it should be, right? There's no fine or penalty for not having life insurance, but I think that in some cases there should be, right? Nobody wants to leave their family with nothing. Nobody wants to leave the cost of a funeral as a burden for their family if they die. And that's life insurance. We protect people's lives. We protect people's finances. We protect people's futures and their legacies. All right, guys, so my very first tip in becoming exceptional at life insurance is, and I promise you, you are going to hate me for this one. You're going to hate yourself for this one because it's so obvious. It's common sense. And I feel bad even making you watch this YouTube video for it. But I promise you it's this simple. And that is to just ask. It's that simple. I promise you. Just ask. If you just ask your clients, you'll be surprised with the answer. Okay? So you have clients, you have friends, you have family, you have just got to ask these individuals who they have their life insurance through. And ask just like that. Mr. and Mrs. Johnson, who do you have your life insurance through? And then shut up. Because that will open up a dialogue. They're gonna tell you one of 2 things. They're gonna say, yes, I do have life insurance, and that'll give you the opportunity to schedule an appointment to review it with them, make sure there's no gaps in coverages, make sure they're in the right product. Or 2, they're going to tell you that they don't have life insurance, and that'll give you an opportunity to schedule an appointment and to have that conversation. But you won't get that far unless you at least ask.
Yes, he is on Facebook. I did the exact same thing you did, which I looked him up on Facebook. And
I don't know that this guy is necessarily a schmuck, but he is. He's not a life insurance agent. We should really be very clear about that first off.
Correct. So
right.
What we're trying to show you is you can get a lot of bad content if you're not listening to the right people. This guy is a PNC agent.
Yep. And I bet you for PNC agents, that first recommendation is probably really good. Because, you know what, I will tell you, as a person who is trying to get final expense agents to learn to sell Medicare, that would be the very first piece of advice that I would give most final expense agents who want to sell Medicare. Actually talk to them about it, right?
Yeah.
It's not bad advice if what you do is not selling life insurance.
Correct.
But if selling life insurance is what you do, that is the most banal piece of advice. And honestly, even if you're looking for a cross sell, like if you're, that's not a tip you put into a video. And again, he says it. He prefaces that tip by saying, "You're going to hate me for saying this. I hate me for saying this."
Yeah, I didn't notice it the first time I watched it.
Because you hadn't heard the tip yet. But that's the kind of thing that people do. Like, that's one of those like tells that, you know, a person isn't really actually confident about what they're going to say. They kind of undermine themselves before they say a thing.
Right.
You know, that's one of those like public speaking, like, don't do this. And the thing is, he actually had a really decent sales tip buried inside that non-tip, which is ask a closing question and shut up.
Yeah.
Right? He didn't say that. That wasn't his tip.
I don't know.
It was a really good sales tip.
I don't know if he knew that. Yeah. I don't know if he knows that. But a lot of final expense sales is knowing after you present a close or which option is good for you, just shut up.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Nicholas, if you're watching this, we're not dogging on you. We are final expense agents. We sell final expense on a full-time basis. This is what we do. Again, if you're a PNC agent, I don't necessarily think it's bad advice. Because what I have found is because I started working with PNC agents, they're so focused on it that they don't ask at all.
Which is, with any cross sell, right? You're so focused on your initial thing that you don't ask to do the cross sell. And that's the secret to any cross selling, is to just start.
Just try. Yeah, just try.
Right. It feels really like a banal, like, number one hot tip leading off your list.
Yeah, it's like that's the hook, like, to everything that you're gonna go watch.
I seriously, I almost turned off the video. Like, the first time I almost turned off the video and was just like, we can't do this, Matt.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, he's trying, but he's also a captive insurance agent.
Yeah, he's a captive PNC agent. He does a completely different thing. He's trying to motivate a team of sub agents. You know, he's a general agency manager. He's not like, but this is the type of thing that if your upline is giving you this kind of advice, that is a red flag that they maybe don't actually understand what you're trying to do.
Right. Or they're not giving you enough advice, or you're not plugging into your upline, right? And you're trying to search for outside information, and what you searched on YouTube or on Google because all I did when I found this was I typed in how to sell life insurance.
Right.
And we got a PNC agent giving you, a final expense agent, bad advice.
And at no point in the video does he ever say that this is, I mean, because he probably doesn't assume that anybody's going to stumble across his video. That's not part of his world. It seems like it's a very focused type of video for other people who are in his, it doesn't like, I don't get the impression that this was a video that was necessarily casting a hugely wide net. I don't know, I could be wrong. But he at no point says, you know, I'm a PNC agent. You get clues if you know what you're looking for, but if you're a brand new agent, I don't know that you would know what you're looking for. And honest to God, like the worst thing that you can do when you've got a direct mail lead is walk up to somebody's house, knock on their door and say, hey, you want to buy some life insurance?
Yeah.
Like that's not a winning strategy.
Right. They've already sent in a card saying they want to buy some life insurance.
Right.
The asking is done at that point. You've paid for that right. question
you
to go out for
that.
You paid for the question to already happen. So you don't need to ask at all. Again, it's a hard video to really do because I guess if you're a PNC agent, it's not that bad. But what I'm just trying to show everybody is if you're searching in the wrong places for how to sell final expense, which is what we do, you can stumble some really bad tips.
Yeah.
For final expense. It's almost like, and someone said it before, it's almost like final expense is in a whole other realm of life insurance. Even though we do sell a whole life policy,
you're doing a different thing.
It's a totally different thing. It's a totally different concept. It's a totally different concept.
Yeah.
You know, you can find some really bad stuff.
Yeah. It's not good.
All right.
Yeah. And like you said, I don't want to rip on, I mean, he's probably very good at what he does. The video is not, I was maybe a little unfair calling it super lazy at the beginning, but it feels very, if I was coming from this from the perspective, like you were just saying, of a brand new agent looking for help, and I didn't know what was good and what was bad, this would sound good. This would make sense.
Yeah, I just imagine the agent who got started, who bought some leads because their upline told them it was good to buy leads, and they didn't ask for help when they were not having success. Mm-hmm. And instead of asking for help, they went to what they know, which is YouTube or Google. Mm-hmm. And they're like, you know what? I'm going to go do this by myself, and I'm going to research this by myself. And this is what they came across.
Yeah, learn how to do anything on YouTube, right? I just had somebody tell me that the other day. We've been renovating our house very, very slowly for like the last year, and it's going very, very slowly because we're doing a lot of it ourselves because contractors are busy more than anything. Like I would definitely hire somebody to be doing some of this stuff if I could find anybody who had any time to do it, but I don't, so I'm doing it myself. But I was talking to somebody about it and complaining that like I just want to find a guy to redo my floors because I don't want to do my floors myself. They were like, "You've got YouTube. Why do you need to hire somebody to do your floors?"
Because I don't want to do it.
Yeah, right. Like, or like, you've got YouTube. Why do you need somebody to rewire your electrical panel? I don't know. I don't trust I'm not going to die if I try to follow YouTube's instructions on how to rewire my electrical panel. Like, I'd rather a professional do that sort of thing. Actually taking professional advice is important, you know? And I think about the guy that you're talking about at the beginning, like at the beginning of the episode, who essentially was doing what we're just saying, hey, we're worried people might be doing, and got himself into $4,000 of debt and is going to fail out of the business unless he very, very rapidly makes a really solid change in the right direction. And at this point, he's got one shot to fix this.
Yeah, he's got one shot. He's got one shot, but where I know what he's not going to do is he probably has those leads, and I don't know how old those leads are. He says they're age leads. If it was me and I was in that position, and I hope you're watching this, I would call through those leads one time, and I would door knock. I would route them out, and I would door knock every single lead.
Yeah. In his case, absolutely. It's not about efficiency. It's about getting yourself out of a $4,000 hole and turning profit on 500 leads that you've got.
Yeah. Out of those 500 leads, it doesn't matter how old they are, right? It doesn't matter. You've got at least 75. You got at least 75 presentations that you could give.
Oh, easy. I mean, easily. It would not be easy to do. It'll take a lot of work.
It's going to take a lot of work.
But there is easily that many presentations in there.
And those presentations, if you suck, okay, I've done this for like the entire week. I was teaching new agents like, hey, if you do this and you suck, your one goal for the 40 hours worth of work that you have, if you schedule 40 hours, right? If you suck, and you will, your whole job is to sit down with 12 to 15 people for the week.
Yep.
Okay. And if you suck, and you will, okay, because you're brand new, if you sit down with 12 to 15 people, you'll close 2 or 3. Right?
I'd say even if you suck, you'd probably close 4.
I know, but I was giving it like really sucky.
Like yeah, I mean like 3, yeah, like
yeah,
only 1 in 5, yeah, I guess, yeah, 20%.
Yeah, right. If you do that, you can still be profitable, not by a lot, but you can still be profitable for the week. But here's the compounding effect. When you do that for like 2 weeks or 3 weeks, you're going to suck a little bit less. And then on the same amount of presentations, this is important, you're going to be able to close 5 to 7 out of the 12, which is an average of 6. And that the average case, which is $750, you're now doing $4,000 worth of production versus $1,800 worth of production.
Is the average case $750 these days?
$6,250 is kind of like where it's kind of where yours is going to be up a little bit because.
Well, no, I'm not talking about me. I'm just talking about like when I started, the average case was $600 instead of $750.
Yeah, it's gone up.
The world's just gotten more expensive.
Yeah, the world has definitely got more expensive. It was $50, but if you, I have the privilege and honor of talking with a lot of the carriers and like their metrics and stuff like that, and they like peel back for us, and theirs is like, it's pretty much right there.
Yeah, interesting.
And individual agents like yours might be a little bit higher, but when I'm doing math with people, I no longer do the $50. I do the $6,250, which is $750. Yeah, cool. $750. So it's actually like in a percentage wise from the 500 or the 600.
That's a big jump.
It's a nice little chunk, and it actually makes it easier to make money in this business.
Yeah.
So what I mean is, even if you suck, you can still be a little bit profitable. It's going to be a hard couple weeks, but if you suck a little bit less, you can start to make a lot of money very quickly.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm off track, but I've just.
We are a little bit, but it's the video is not that interesting to talk about. But
do you want to watch?
Yeah, let's watch the next section. Let's see. I remember nothing that came after that first tip because I was just like,
you're that mad,
blind rage. Yeah. Just really. So the next 2 tips might be fire. Who knows? Let's find out.
All right, let's find out. Let's pause it for a second.
We all know it. In 2020, this is kind of common sense, but we have got to use social media, right? We've got to go where the attention's at. Every day, this is what people are doing. Aimlessly scrolling their lives away. And so we've got to go where the attention's at to gather leads. Now, I'm not saying to promote prices or it's this cheap on social media or call me for life insurance. I'm not telling you to promote life insurance on social media like that. But you have got to do it in a way that grabs people's attention. Something that disrupts people's patterns, maybe makes them laugh, maybe just does something different to make them interested or intrigued in life insurance. I did a post where I hung up a cardboard box that said, GoFundMe is not life insurance. I'll blow it up on the screen. And that got a ton of attention. It gets people to think about what you provide in a different light, in a funny / entertaining way. And what I like to call that is edutainment. Okay? You have to edutain people. What does that mean? Educate and entertain. So the only way to grab people's attention today is to entertain them. People go on social media to be entertained. They don't go to social media to get sold. Does that make sense? So we have got to create marketing that grabs people's attention and makes them laugh, but also makes them think like, I don't have life insurance. Maybe I should get some. Maybe I need some right about now. So that is a way that we've been able to generate a ton of leads over the past 4 years. But I will tell you, there's also a consistency factor to this. You've got to do it consistently, and it doesn't have to be some special post, but you do have to get people to remember and remind people that it is you that offers this service. That it is you that provides it, because nobody wants to act on life insurance right away. In everyone's mind, they're gonna get it, but eventually, right? But it's up to you to capture their attention to act on it right now, not to put it off anymore, because they can die tomorrow, right? So they need it today, and everyone knows that they need it today because death is certain. We're all gonna die, and it could be any day. So it's up to you to create that sense of urgency, but to also be consistent with it. Every so often, I will actually go to GoFundMe.com and I will search the keyword funeral just to see the results that come up. And you'll be shocked and surprised to find that nearly 1 million people consistently are looking to earn or raise capital or funds to be able to put a loved one to rest. And that's because these people didn't have life insurance. And so every so often I will actually screenshot those results and post it to show my friends like, hey guys, this is who you're competing with if one of your loved ones dies that doesn't have life insurance and you're not able to afford their funeral.
So before we talk about that, can I go back to how annoying I find the very first thing that he said for this whole video, which I was reminded of as he started talking about this, where he says that life insurance is the easiest sale that you'll ever make. And it's also the hardest sale you'll ever make, because nobody wants to talk about life insurance, but it's also the easiest sale you'll ever make. And then how I feel like the advice in this post is assuming that life insurance is an easy sale. And the badness of this advice comes from that incorrect and bad assumption.
Yeah.
I think. Right? Do you agree with me there?
I
like
agree.
That is everything is stemming from that.
Yeah. He says it again. He's like, this is so obvious. Like
he does.
He does again. Like, he said it again. And to be honest, like, I'm so thrown off by watching it, and like more, I love the reaction of you. The video title I want to be is you like just get so angry. Yeah, like that. That's gonna be like your head's exploding of like, yeah, get that title.
Good thumbnail.
Yeah, get that. Of like just Nick explodes about bad life insurance sales advice. If you go, and this is for the people that are in the people helping pneumonia company.
Okay.
I can't say it.
I know.
Okay.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
Okay.
People who need people.
People who need people. If you're being told that the way to get leads and to have conversations about life insurance is to not annoy, but if they're saying anything like what this guy just said, which is like, make it funny, make life insurance interesting, disrupt the pattern. One, there's a reason that insurance has a bad rap. If you do that, you're going to be what's called in the NFL. Okay. We call that the no friends left, or the not for long.
So I remember when I first started, I got my license and I was going to start selling insurance, and I said something to a friend of mine that I changed careers. I was going to stop, struggling as a teacher and go into selling insurance. He sent me a video clip of a montage of Stephen Tobolowsky's character from Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
And said, as long as you never turn into this guy, we can still be friends.
Yeah.
No, Phil, I sell insurance.
What a shock.
Do you have life insurance? Because if you do, you could always use a little more. Am I right or am I right or am I right? Right.
Roll that clip, Ryan, because it's a good.
Yeah.
It's just him constantly running up to him and need some life insurance? Need some life insurance? Need some life insurance?
Yeah. And and you don't want to be that guy. Now, again, embedded within the bad advice is actually some good advice for social media marketing. Like if you're going to do actual social media marketing and not just put up really terrible, not funny, not interesting life insurance memes, you're probably not funny. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like you're probably not.
If you're sharing the same thing that everybody else has shared, which by the way, I went on his Facebook, he did the same thing that he thought was funny, and it wasn't really that funny.
Yeah. Like
pattern disruption on social media marketing, because I do understand this topic,
right?
Of Facebook advertising is a good thing.
It's great. And if you've got decent content and you're like, you know, this is one of those times when I kind of want to plug Justin Thomas's course and the stuff that he teaches people how to do, and like, you know, learning to talk about honest stuff. And I just got a notification that Justin Thomas just put out a new YouTube video, so that's serendipitous. But like, yeah, like, you know, Justin's just a friend of ours. Like, he doesn't pay us anything to talk him up. But if that's the type of thing that you want to do, like, it works. It's real. Matt does it. You know, this is actually what Matt spends most of his time doing these days is, you know, figuring out ways to get people to stop scrolling and look at what's on Facebook. It's sound general principles, but nobody is going to care if you post how many people are searching for funerals on GoFundMe. Nobody's going to care. Unless you actually know that you know how to write and that you are actually funny, all that you're going to do is annoy people. It's just cringy. It's awful.
Young people under the age of 50 do not go to social media to be told about life insurance.
No. Now, yes, do you want to make sure that your friends and family know what you do so that if they decide they want to talk to somebody about life insurance, they come and talk to you instead of picking up the phone and calling, I don't know, Joe Blow insurance agent, right? Yeah, of course. Like, let people know what you do, but like, don't let them know what you do in like, I'm pitching you insurance sort of way. Let them know what you do the way that your friend who's a doctor lets you know what they do, or your friend who's a CPA lets you know what they do, or your friend who's a teacher lets you, like, you should just, like, people know what their friends do for a living, right?
Yeah. And then what happens, the same thing that happens with the final expense client, is somebody's going to die. Okay. They're going to be at that funeral. They're going to see a financial hardship happen in that person's household. It's a husband and wife. Husband passed away, has no life insurance, right? And they see the wife struggling. They're going to think for just a second, I've got to get life insurance. And if they know who you are and what you do at that time, you have a very strong possibility of getting a message.
Yeah.
But if you think that you posting once a week an insurance meme is going to gather leads for you, you're dead wrong.
No. Which is not to say that you can't use social media and that you can't do this kind of stuff and that it can't work for you. But you've got to you actually have to know what you're doing. You have to be, again, following a plan and working with intention and not just randomly throwing stuff at the wall and hoping what sticks. And that's what bugs me about this particular one, is that there's actually a lot of good advice and a lot of good stuff buried inside a general attitude of let's just throw stuff at the wall and see what sticks.
He actually had something on the back end of his just ask.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I don't know how far you skipped, but it kind of was talking about what I was talking about. It's like your job is to have like 12 to 15 presentations a week.
Yeah.
It's a law of numbers, right? You have to go through the numbers to get to the number of sales. That's the main thing I was like trying to drive home with these new agents this week. I was like, one, you can't do it in a week. If you have 12 to 15 presentations a week, it doesn't mean that week 1 you're going to knock it out of the park and you make all this money.
No.
It's a rolling 4 to 6 to really 8-week average that you need to be looking at your sales and going, what am I doing? If you're looking, like, if you ask Nick, what was your closing percentage this week? He's like, I don't know. But if you say, what's your closing percentage for the year? He has a damn good idea.
And the other thing is, there is an element of needing to understand that random events will cluster randomly. And when you're working leads, you are picking from pre-qualified random bodies, right? You don't know which of those leads are going to be decent prospects and which of those leads are not going to be prospects, and which of those leads are going to be laydowns, and which of those leads are going to be people who will buy if you position things right. There will be a mix of all of those in there, but you don't know what order you're going to come across them in.
Yeah. I said this the other day. I was like, a lead, if you have a stack of leads, you know, it's like lottery tickets. You have to scratch every single thing off to work it to fruition to see what's going to come out of it.
Yeah.
And if you do, you have a much better chance of making money from those lottery tickets than actual lottery tickets, like a significantly better chance.
Oh my God. Yeah, absolutely.
Like an insane amount. But
you also can't get discouraged if you go to have 15 presentations and the first 6 of those 15 presentations happen to have randomly clustered into 6 non-prospects who don't have any money, don't have a bank account, have crazy health conditions, got life insurance when they were 12 for $100,000 and it's paid up. Like, you can't know.
Yeah.
Like, that's random.
I had an agent tell me today, he was like, hey man, what do I do if an agent went by there just last week and sold a whole life final expense policy that's priced really well? And I'm like, ask if they need more. No. Then they're in a really good position. Like, unless you could absolutely destroy the price.
Right.
You know, I can't tell you these leads are going to buy from you.
No.
I can't tell you that like you got there a week late. That's it.
Stuff happens. Find a better prospect. There's hundreds of them, thousands of them.
Millions
of them. Like, there's no shortage of prospects, right? Like, but like, you know, like I was out working yesterday, and, you know, one of the people I sat down with was a complete laydown. And then I met with a lady who bought a participating whole life policy when she was 40 years old.
I bet she had a nice policy.
Yeah, from a good, reputable company. We called, we verified, everything was above board. She didn't have any loans taken out on it. It was a $25,000 face value. She'd earned an additional $25,000 of death benefit from dividend buildup because she'd had it for just that long. She was paying like $30 a month for it. Like, I asked her, right? Yeah, no, I mean, like, that doesn't happen very often. But I was like, if you want more life insurance, I can help you get more life insurance, but you shouldn't do anything with this. This is good.
Yeah.
You know. And she was like, okay, I guess that's all I wanted to know. I just wanted to make sure what I had was good. And I was like, yeah, you're paying $30 for it. It's worth $50,000. If you wanted to take money out of it, it's got like $10,000 you could take out. And I was like, what were you planning on doing with it? And she was like, I wanted to leave as much money to my kids as possible. I was like, do you need the $10,000? No, I don't. Great. You're good. Live your life.
Yeah. Don't stop paying the $30 a month.
Yeah, keep paying the $30 a month. And she was not in great health at this point. You know, she was in her 70s. She had COPD. Like she was fine. Yeah. She shouldn't have done anything.
But some agents,
not everybody's a prospect.
But some agents will try to twist that and turn it into a $230 policy for them, and it's just like, don't do that.
No.
You know?
There's too many prospects out there. Don't do that.
But what we're saying about this guy is
yeah, right.
We were supposed to be doing a reaction video. We just go back to the thing because the videos.
There's just not that much to talk about with the video. We can.
It's almost like, and this is probably a horrible example. It's almost like somebody went on Fiverr.com. I don't know if you know what Fiverr is. It's like a freelance service for like $5.
Sure.
And it was like some guy that was like, I'll make a great YouTube video about selling life insurance for you. And this is what the guy came up with.
And again, like more than anything, I feel like this is a guy who's making a very targeted video for a very specific audience that got a ton of views that he didn't intend to get because he put a really good title on it. That is just catching people's eyes right now. And this is not what he does. He's making a video to try and get his agents, because the PNC agency model is, you know, you've got the general agent who runs and owns the agency, and then you've got the sub agents who are essentially LOA to the general agent who get paid a salary and build the book of business, right? That's the PNC model for most PNC shops. And he's basically just trying to get them to sell life insurance when they're servicing his book of business, right?
Yeah.
And this stuff would work for that. Sort of. Like, but I mean, like, this isn't for a professional life insurance agent. He's not a professional life insurance agent.
No.
He's a guy who happens to sell life insurance.
And and his commissions are, I'm promising you, nowhere near close to if you're a traditional final expense agent, nowhere near close.
No.
But
that's okay because
that's not what he does. He makes
it's not what he does.
Yeah.
So it's almost unfair that we're ripping on him, you know, and I do want to say that. I'm sure he's probably a perfectly fine guy. I have no idea. I don't know him at all. But
I'm gonna email him and let him know that we don't hate him.
Yeah. You reach out to him, see if we want to do a collab.
Yeah, no, actually, it might be good. He might get some viewers. Do you want to watch the next two?
Yeah, because
there's one more tip. We got to finish it out.
Yeah,
I want to watch this.
Tip is to make sure that you and your team are following up. You have got to follow up with your clients. This is just an overall tip in sales. There's no point in generating all this interest. There's no point in asking who they have their life insurance through. There's no point in marketing and putting yourself out there on social media if you're not going to follow up. You've got to understand that people have lives going on, and life insurance is at the bottom of their list of to-dos. And so it's up to you to constantly follow up. Life happens to a lot of people. There are so many things going on, and we've got to make sure that we are constantly following up, constantly putting ourselves out there on social media, because it's going to remind them that, I've got to contact Nick for that life insurance policy. They're not ducking and dodging you. Just know that. So you have got to follow up with each and every prospect and client until you get a yes or a no. So you definitely want to use social media to gather up leads for life insurance, and you want to do it in an interesting way. But the last thing you want to do is become that friend or that person that's that spam person. So do it in moderation. You need to have a balanced approach. You got to mix in your personality about it. You got to mix in you, and that's what works most effectively.
It's a pretty bad video. The crazy part is I can't even see how many subscribers the guy has.
I can't see how many. He might not. I mean, he might have closed his channel down. I don't know. Although this wasn't
No.
that long ago.
No. I looked at his video. He made one like just the other day.
Oh, did he? Yeah. I can't see how many subscribers he has either. This video got 1,000 views, which is also way more than most of his other videos. Like most of his videos get like 100 views. Which I'm not complaining.
Again, because
a lot of our videos only get 100, like 200 views. So,
but again, because it's expertly titled, is the reason that he's getting the views that he's gotten. Is because there's agents out there who might be watching this who have watched something similar to this and got bad advice.
Right. And again, nothing against you in particular, Nick. Nick's got to stick together. But like, this isn't what you do. And this is not, our audience is not who you made your video for. And we do understand that. And for your audience, this was probably excellent. Because there's a lot of good advice. There's a lot of good stuff buried in these overall tips that you're giving. but it's not good stuff for our audience. And that's really all we're focused on. That's
how often, Nick, do you follow up after you've given a proper presentation with a client? How often do you follow up with those clients?
I gave a full presentation and they either said I have to think about it or they said no.
Yeah.
Never. I'll never call them again.
Exactly.
Unless they send in another card, and then I'll call them again.
Exactly. Unless you waste another $30 on them.
Yeah. They're brand new.
But exactly, like the final expense business is a one call close,
which is very different than PNC, right? PNC is all about that constant touching and renewing and refreshing and cross-selling.
Exactly. Because PNC renews every 6 months or a year or whatever the case may be. Yes, you're right. You need to follow up on that. But for final expense agents, after I talk to you and they say, "Can I call you back?" No. I don't do follow-ups. I don't do be-backs. I've gotten you all the information that you need here today to make a decision. What do you want to do?
They won't send me back out. I have to see 10 people a day. If I come back and see you, it's going to take time away from somebody else who has never had a chance to talk to me before.
Yeah. That's it. That's a sales tip. If you want to watch what Nick just said or something similar to what I just said, like if someone's telling you like, "Can I call you back?" No. Ms. Jones, I've been called a whole lot of things. I've been called back one time. I don't come back. This is it. You've got everything you need to do this today. So again, it might be a great information for a PNC agent, but it's not good for final expense agents.
Which is really the whole point. Like, I really don't want, I feel sort of bad that we're ripping on this video, but we're ripping on the video from the perspective of if you found this as a person who is struggling in final expense and you watched this video, this is going to send you down the wrong path. If you're, I don't know anything about, I don't not know anything about PNC, but I'm not a PNC agent. Maybe if you're a PNC agent who is trying to sell more life insurance, this whole video might be fire. I have no idea. Because that's not who I am and that's not what I do. And I wouldn't give that advice.
Well,
I also wouldn't give advice on how to sell more PNC for life insurance agents, though.
Right. Because you don't do it.
Right. How to sell more PNC in 2021 is not a video you are going to see on the insurance panel.
Correct. Now, going back to follow-up. My follow-up is, if you didn't pick up the phone or you weren't home and I ain't going to get to talk to you yet, I'll follow up with you.
Sure. If I haven't made contact with you, I consider you the same as a brand new lead. Well,
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's levels of that, but
yeah, but more or less. Like, I don't feel like there's a whole lot of difference between a lead that I've called once and didn't get an answer and a lead that I've called 20 times and didn't get an answer. It's all more or less the same.
Yeah. Until I've talked to you about your needs and your life insurance needs and your funeral needs and gone through that whole entire presentation with you, which you should go watch our video on presentations, I will follow up with you. If I've done everything that I'm supposed to do, which is contact you, talk to you about your life insurance, shown you the benefits of what I can bring to you, and you say no, or you say, "Can I call you back?" or "I don't have enough money," just like Nick, I'm not going to follow up with you.
Oh.
There's enough people.
Exactly.
You waste more time. I'm telling you this from a final expense agent. You waste more time saying, "I'm going to go back to that client," versus talking to somebody. You could talk to 3 other people before you can actually follow up with that one person.
And opportunity cost is real, right? You go back to see somebody that you've already talked to once. Your percentage of close, the percentage that you might close them is low already. They've already told you no once. You come back and see them, if they're even there for the follow-up appointment, which a lot of times they won't be, because they only wanted to think about it and send you away because they didn't have the heart to say no. And that's really what they were saying. And you come back and you see them, and instead of going and seeing a new prospect who you maybe have a 50-50 chance of closing, random Schrodinger's prospect, until you show up, it's just as likely that you're going to close them as you're not.
Right.
This is not that. You're going back to see somebody that you are more likely than not to not close. So you are giving away your opportunity and your time that you could be spending going to see somebody that you might close.
But I feel
that
like
actually costs you real money.
I feel like this tip is also given regularly by final expense agents, or like I've seen this, and I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it who it's from, because he's a friend of mine.
I know who you're talking about.
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
But he says that like follow up is like the key.
But he doesn't sell either.
I know.
You know what he sells? He sells his IMO.
Yeah, his IMO. You're right. He's following up on his IMO.
Yeah.
Which is good advice for them.
Yeah. If you're a recruiter, follow up. What the hell?
But it's not good advice to give life insurance agents who are struggling.
No. And it's a different market.
Yep.
I think the main takeaway from this whole video that I would like people to walk away from is, don't take advice on how to sell final expense from people who don't sell final expense.
Don't get sales tips from people. If you're a final expense agent, only get advice from people who sell final expense successfully, or at least semi-successfully.
And who actually sell final expense. Not people who used to sell final expense, not people who sold final expense the last time 10 years ago. Right? We've had that guy on our channel. That doesn't work out either. Get your sales advice from people who actually are in touch with what it takes to sell. We were watching other videos. We were looking at doing other videos. And there was actually another video that Matt looked at that he sent to me, which was excellent. Like every piece of advice. It wasn't final expense oriented. It was just general sales oriented. But like all of the advice was very good advice. And the only reason we're not doing that is it was like a 35-minute long video. Yeah. And this was not even 9 minutes of content. And we were coming up on like an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So, but one of the things that the guy in that video said was, if you are in sales, you need to always be learning. You need to always be in touch with what's happening. And it seems to me that in final expense, more quickly than in other fields, when you step out of doing it regularly, the sharpness just passes you by. And it just doesn't. The people who were selling final expense 5 years ago, their advice is less good today than it was when they were giving it 5 years ago. And that's true of a lot of people who used to be very good at selling final expense too. And there's a lot of them that used to be very good at selling final expense, and their advice has degraded. Like I see it. They're still out there giving advice on YouTube channels, talking. They're out there. Some of them are my friends, so I'm not going to mention who they are.
I'm like going through I'm like,
you know who some of these people are. But they're people who went into managing salespeople, which is great. If that's what you want to do, but they got out of the field and they stopped selling, and their advice degrades. Their advice is still better than people who've never done it, but it's not as good as the people who still have a hand in things. It's just not.
So I'll ask you this. I haven't been able to get in the field in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like I suck?
I don't feel like you suck, but I think you talking to me on a weekly basis kind of keeps you honest. Keeps you honest, right?
Well, I still, I'll say this. Where I don't get to go out in the field, I still talk to clients on the phone every day, because my agents are in the field and they're calling me and I'm having the same conversations. with clients, insurance companies, agents, blah blah blah. So I still think I could still sell. Let me put that out there.
No, I believe I genuinely believe that you can. And I know you can because you had to go out and sell for a while, like not that long ago. It was like a couple months back. You went out and you sold like $5,000 or $10,000.
Yeah,
in a very short period of time. I'm not saying you have to be in the field selling every single day, but I'm saying like if the last time that you sat in front of a prospect was 10 years ago, even if you were like a rock star 10 years ago, you are less worth listening to than somebody who is selling at a high level right now today. And that's just the nature of things. Like, I mean, that sucks, but it just is.
Right.
You're still probably better than listening to somebody who's never done it, though.
Correct. You're still going to be better than this guy.
Right. Or our other mutual friend who's all about the follow-up.
Yeah.
Who also is just, I mean, there's a lot of people out there who are trying to teach you how to sell and specifically sell final expense who don't sell anything.
Yeah.
They're not salespeople.
No.
So that's
I don't know how we're gonna title this thing. I really want to do the picture of you blowing your head up of like Nick's tired.
Don't go to YouTube for sales advice.
Unless it's the insurance panel and you subscribed and you liked it.
Smash that like button.
Destroy
it.
So cheesy.
Destroy the subscribe.
He's got 66 likes on that video.
I know.
That's more than we've ever gotten.
I know. Nobody ever likes our videos, but we never ask people to.
That's true.
I mean, we do. I mean, we do sort of, but like we're not pushy about it.
We're not pushy about it.
We never open with, hey, don't forget to subscribe and like.
Yeah. Smash that like button if you found this valuable information. Give a subscribe. Hit the bell notification so you know what's going on in the life of Nick and Matt in the insurance panel. We're always going to come at you with some real raw advice. We're not going to sugarcoat anything. We're going to make it understandable for you if you're a final expense agent and possibly some kind of Medicare agent. Nick can help you more on the Medicare than I can.
And honestly, if you're a 100% Medicare agent, like you shouldn't be taking advice from us either. Like if your entire focus is only doing Medicare, like don't listen to us.
Yeah.
We will give mediocre advice on being a full-time Medicare agent, just like this guy gives mediocre advice on being a full-time life insurance agent.
Especially if it comes to the sup side.
Right.
Medicare subs is like, no. What do you think? You might know some, but
that's how I started. But again, I haven't done med sups regularly in like 5 years. My advice on how to sell med sups is probably degraded. Like I don't do that anymore.
Exactly. Guys, don't get bad advice from searching YouTube for sales tips if you're a final expense agent. If you need final expense training, Dave Duford's got a good YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Doug Massey's got some decent content on YouTube on how to sell. If you want advice, if you want to talk to people who have done it and seen and watched, and we're going to give you advice. And the main advice we're going to give you is what, Nick?
Buy leads.
Buy leads, right?
Buy leads.
Just buy leads. Buy them consistently. If you want to listen to this, watch the insurance panel and subscribe and smash that like button, guys.
Destroy the subscribe button.
I can't get over it. All right. Thanks again.
There's stuff we cut out of his video, guys. I swear. Anyway.
You should go watch the whole video. Guys, we'll talk to you. Bye.